guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're here in Encinitas, California for the first media drive event of this vehicle right here. This is it. This is the all-new, first time ever, 2023 Toyota bZ4X. But before we get into our limited trim, let's talk about what's going on here. Toyota. They've been doing the business for so many decades when it comes to reliable, dependable transportation. Obviously, when they first came to the United States and were selling cars, it was all about efficiency. The whole oil embargo crisis of the 1970s really were kind of forcing people to look for alternatives compared to the larger American-sized cars. Well, fast forward to the 21st century, it's now looking as a direction towards electrification. Of course, we all know that brand Tesla that really has made a super large section of the market for themselves with their electrified vehicles. Now other manufacturers are moving in that direction. This technically is the first ever full electrified vehicle from Toyota. Now, guess what though? They're not newcomers to electrification. Let me explain. They've been doing electrification for 22 years. Think about it. Hybrid models, that Toyota Prius, that is an electrified vehicle, still sold to this day. And if you have a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, those are electrified vehicles. But this one being pure EV, no internal combustion engine ever. And what's interesting is that this vehicle being a compact crossover SUV, they really have dabbled with that kind of idea even back in 1997 with workings on an electrified RAV4. Now I bring up the RAV4 and you might say, well, Joe, why didn't they just make an electrified version of the RAV4? Why the bZ4X? Well, first of all, this may look about the same size as a RAV4, but it is not. Second of all, lots of competition, especially from Ford and Volkswagen, and of course Subaru, are going in this direction of an electrified SUV. So what I want to do is I want to dive in to this bZ4X limited trim, show you all the special touches about it, but also compare it to another popular brand bringing electrification. That would be Volkswagen with the ID.4. So let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out which one is the better electrified SUV for you, and is it really worth the price at the end of the day for one of these bZ4Xs? Let's find out. Right off the bat, I love the color. The nice bright metallic silver with the darker gunmetal metallic gray. I know it may look pure black, but these are more like a gunmetal metallic gray finish on the fenders. They did this on purpose to designate it, separate it from the RAV4. Now the bZ4X is a little bit wider, it's a little bit longer, and it's a little bit lower than your RAV4. So that means interior space is gonna be a little bit extra when it comes to room. Now at the front of the business, this being a limited trim, you're actually gonna get the updated headlights. Both the the XLE and the Limited have LED headlights. This one though, you have full high beams and low beams, that multi-setup on the interior, the headlight housing. I love the way they shaped a very, very small headlight housing with your LED daytime running lamps and turn signals all built into one. You'll notice the massive, look at that, I can stick my whole hand here. Oh, it's stuck. No, just kidding. Massive corner air intakes to help channel the air around the side of the vehicle, because remember, with an electrified vehicle, to kind of get that better range, we need to go through the air like a hot knife through butter. You'll notice how that metallic gunmetal gray finish flows nicely into the lower area of the front fascia. And then as we come across the front, there's no real grille. What they call this is the hammerhead design. And you can look at it, it looks like a hammerhead shark. You still got that lower area for air to come because of the cooling for the battery pack, but that is functional, flat black. I like the way they extend that front lip out. And on the limited trim, you're gonna get this nice aluminum finish, really blends in nicely with our metallic silver. Some gloss black, nothing too crazy. We got a forward-facing camera. And then as we kind of step up, there's that Toyota badge. They sunk it in to the top of the front fascia, clean lines on the hood. Obviously, comparing this to the ID.4, ID.4 is gonna be a little bit smaller, And then beauty's gonna be in the eye of the beholder, which way you wanna go for looks. They both have their own unique taste. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire stud. Now, this being a limited trim, which you only have two trims, XLE and limited. They made it super easy. They want this to be an easy electrified vehicle. We got the bigger wheels, 20-inch wheels. If you go with the XLE, those are gonna be 18-inch wheels, but you got nice machined aluminum. Love the gunmetal gray, plastic inserts all the way around, 20-inch wheel. Another thing that's gonna separate this from the sister Subaru Solterra, you could get this front wheel drive or you could get it rear wheel drive. Excuse me, all-wheel drive, not rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. We're gonna actually drive both. So you're gonna get a taste of both the front-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive. But when you go limited trim, you are getting these 20-inch wheels, 235 on the width, meaty 50 series sidewall. We do have regen braking, and the brake rotors up front are about 12.8 inches on the size of the rotor up front. Size of the rotor out in the rear is about 12.5. And of course, the battery pack on that new chassis, that ETNGA, is gonna be at the bottom, the belly of this electrified SUV. But it may look a little peculiar to have these darker fenders, but here in the California sun, I think it's working. Coming down the side, we're gonna have gloss black on the mirror caps. You do have your 360-degree cameras. And then another option which you could get is a two-tone roof. You could get the black roof. I kind of like it all being silver. And the reason why is you're gonna get gloss black roof rails, and then we have a panoramic roof. Stationary glass, panoramic roof. Love the way you got the bright silver for your shark fin antenna. The way they did this quarter window, they could have just made this gloss black. They did not. They actually made this a quarter window. I am gonna zonk though this large triangular piece of gloss black plastic. I'm not sure why that needs to be so large, but there is your quarter window looking great. You got your flared fender. Like I said, 12.5-inch rotors out back, front wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Love this body line. Whoever designed this body line, I wanna give them a high five and a hug because I just love the way it waterfalls nicely into the taillight housing. You'll come around to the rear. We got a special spoiler setup. So you actually have a split roof, low roof spoiler that extends off, no wiper or anything like that. And you even have two vortex generators that's gonna clean the air as it comes off the back of the bZ4X, hits the rear spoiler, and then evacuates the vehicle. Limited trim, you got your LED lighting all the way across. bZ4X, you want me to explain the name? Let me explain it. BZ stands for bizarre. Beyond zero, 4 is the type of vehicle that it is, and X, this is an SUV. So that's why they call it the bZ4X. Ta-da! Now you know the next time you go on Jeopardy. Dropping your way down, the lower rear bumper reminds me of some kind of diffuser off of Toyota's Le Mans prototype race car. Really, really cool looking, nice flat black, and just clean from front to back with that overall flow. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our bZ4X. All right guys, we got the hood popped just like the ID.4, the Volkswagen ID.4. We do have a prop rod. I'm not gonna zonk that though because of how far over to the side it is. What I am gonna zonk is on both vehicles, the Volkswagen and this bZ4X, there's no front mounted trunk like what you would find on a, say, Tesla Model Y or of course a Ford Mach-e. But what do we have? This being front wheel drive is gonna have the single motor, but you could also get it, like I said, with the two motors. Front wheel drive is 201 horsepower, 196 pound-feet of torque. Both have lithium ion batteries, direct drive transmission. With the battery pack on the front wheel drive, it is a little different. It's a 71.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. On the all-wheel drive, it's a little bit different, but let's talk about range, right? Front-wheel drive limited trim is 242 miles. On the all-wheel drive limited, it's 222 miles. That's gonna basically give you 131 mpges in the city and 103 mpgs on the highway, depending on which one you're driving. 8.1 inches of ground clearance. You can use, of course, that level 2 charger. On a level 2 charger, every hour you'll be able to charge an additional 25 miles. And then of course, overnight, it would take about 11 hours to charge the battery on your home power source. with the ground clearance, with the different options, I really think that Toyota is really trying to make this choice easy for you. But why don't we go ahead, let's hear what the pedestrian safety sounds like as you're going reverse in your bZ4X. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Toyota bZ4X, that limited trim. We're comparing it to the Volkswagen ID.4. I know it's getting really good in the market to where there's lots of choices, not just the Volkswagen, but like I said, you got, of course, Tesla with the Model Y, Ford with the Mach-e, so on and so forth. Now, I know you're at that point where you're like, well, Joe, how much is this electrified vehicle? Because that's going to be a big selling point for me. Very good question. So if you go limited trim and you go front wheel drive, that price starts at $46,700. It's real easy to do the math. Add another $2,000 if you want a limited trim with all wheel drive. So you're looking at $48,700. There are some options, JBL sound system, and something very special, which I'm going to talk about when we get to the driver's side, the business end of things. But let's go ahead, let's see what you get for your electrified money to the door panels. What you're going to start off with is some nice soft material up top, and I'm really digging the lighter interior. You actually get a choice of dark or the light gray. The light gray really kind of opens things up. Now it is a little gloss black heavy right around the switchgear, so I am going to zonk that. But the good news is you do have a good sized pocket there for a bottle of milk and a nice California breakfast burrito. Get some avocado, get some picante in there, and really enjoy your morning as you're cruising down the highway. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, interesting use of cloth material. Not my favorite kind of idea, but it does cut down on glare and it does give it a very unique, interesting look. There is no actual glove box for the passenger, but don't let that freak you out because you are gonna have a lot of storage space in here. We have the optional JBL sound system, 9 speakers, including a subwoofer, and then look what we got for our infotainment system. 12.3 inches of electrified visual pleasure. Touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Let me show you some of my favorite features. Watch this. Hey, Toyota. Hey, Toyota.
What would you like to do?
How many charging stations are there in my area?
I found 15 results. The first is Charge Point Charging Station at Interstate 5. Would you like to go to that one?
So right there, it really shows you the ease of use, and you're not going to have that range anxiety, especially with all the different charging options. And Toyota has partnered with many different companies for home charging and public charging. Let me show you another one of my favorite features. You're going to hit the little car icon. We're going to go into charging schedule. You could actually program when you want your vehicle to charge, and it's real simple. You go ahead and hit add. We're going to set a start time. Let's say 12 a.m. is when we want to start, and then we're going to go ahead and set a stop time. And the way that we're going to do that is real simple. Click on departure time. Let's say you're going to leave for work at 7 a.m. You hit OK. It saved it. Now we're going to come down. Do we want to repeat, or do we want to pick particular days? I only want it on Wednesday, on hump day. And then what you're going to do is you go ahead and hit save, and it actually saves it right there for you. That's what Toyota wants this whole experience to be about, is easy operation. But that's just the infotainment side of things. You're going to get heated seats, 3 stages, and ventilated seats, 3 stages as well, which is awesome. All on the area right below the screen. We got a heated steering wheel. You got your dual climate control. Easy to find, easy to read whether it's day or night. I like the way they kind of hid the power on button right by the AC vents. This is very gloss black heavy, but we're not gonna dwell in that. Let's not dwell in the bad things. Let's dwell in the good things. You have an easy to use rotary knob for your direct drive system, which is really great. You go right into park. We do have eco mode. You got basically one pedal operation. It will not stop the vehicle totally, but this will increase your regenerative braking. We do have snow mode, and then cameras. We got some great cameras. Look at this. Look at this 360 search. Nice, clear resolution. I'm gonna go ahead and stop that, and we're gonna go into reverse. Look at out back. We got our 360, nice trajectory, the whole 9 yards. Really, really great and very easy to figure out. Now, one thing that really sparked my curiosity is what is this design on this lid here? They actually left it clear so you can see if there's a phone under there that you're not gonna leave your phone, because we got wireless charging plus a USB-A, but there's more. Down below, we got a little bit of a felt lining. You could put a purse, a merce, a sack, a satchel. You can even put that trophy that you won in your first T-ball game down here, and it's not gonna get scratched. We got USB-Cs, a nice place to hold your phone while it's charging, and a 12 volt. That's the connectivity that Toyota's bringing, and you easily close it up. Now this is the light gray sliding armrest lid, and like I told you, you got plenty of storage. We go in here, you got your 2 cup holders. We pull it up, what do we got? There is your key fob. I like the way it's got the automatic AC so you could chill it before you get out to your car on a hot summer day. We're in car number 7, lucky 7. We got another storage area in here. This is where you could put that little tiny porcelain doll, that Smurf figurine that your grandmother gave you on your 10th birthday back in 1988. You could put that Smurf figurine right in there, and it's not gonna get scratched. And you'll be able to look at it and just have those really nice warm feelings. Close the lid. Seats, light gray, super soft. It's a 6-way manual adjustable seat for the passenger. Guess what? I'm the captain of this electrified ship. I have an 8-way electric adjustable seat, and we do have, check it out, a fixed panoramic sunroof. Goes all the way back so everybody could get electrified with some vitamin D from the sun's rays. But speaking of where you want to be, I know it's not over here. You want to be over here on the business end. Come on over. I'll show you behind the wheel of the new bZ4X. All right, guys, here we are, business time. Now, the great news is I'm 6 feet tall. Even with the fixed panoramic roof, there's plenty of headroom, and that's something I kind of want to touch on. We have that nice power sliding shade. You look at the Volkswagen ID.4, you look at the Mustang, I'm not calling it that, the Ford Mach-e, they don't have any power closing shades, just a solid glass roof, or the Tesla Model Y. But let me focus on something else. Down below in the pedal box, I don't want to really focus on the pedals themselves, but this is the first ever Toyota product to have optional radiant heating for your feet and legs. It's part of the all-weather package, and what that does is it lightly radiates heat to warm up your legs and your feet so that you're not using the HVAC controls. Something new from Toyota, very first time on this bZ4X. There's all your power assist controls, lower lumbar for the driver's seat, 8-way adjustable seat. Steering wheel is a little interesting, and I'll explain why. First of all, the design of it, the way the steering column is, I've never seen anything like it before. Let me know what you think about this setup. Another thing that I'm not in love with, this is as high as it tilts. It's a telescoping steering wheel, and it's a tilt wheel, but that's as high as it goes. And the problem is, I like to have the steering wheel here, and it's a zonk because it blocks the gauges. But speaking of the gauges, I'm gonna go ahead and put it down and push it in and then lock it in. What you're gonna get up top is a 7-inch digital display, all the readouts that you need. I like the way you could slide the graph over with your digital speedometer and then go through different readouts. We could go obviously into the other systems as well, and it's all from the touch of a button. And then on top of that, you are getting Toyota's Sensing 3.0 technology, safety technology, now with alert for bicyclists, open doors, and the whole 9 yards. So they're really up in the game of the technology. Just let me know what you think about this steering wheel setup? Is it nice and futuristic to make you feel special, or is it a little out of control? Put it in the comment section. But let's get in the back seat, because I think maybe your passengers might be happy with what's back there. Let's check it out. All right, guys, backseat time in this limited trim. You're gonna notice right away that nice flat floor, almost totally flat floor that you're getting in this vehicle on that ETNGA platform. We got that battery pack in the bottom here. Like I was saying, it's nice to have the shades because I don't want the sun right now in my face. And we got plenty of headroom back here, 6 feet tall. I'll say it again for the people who were not listening. Now the backs of the seats, you're gonna get that nice soft text material, large pockets. You could easily get all of the California raisins in there. I've heard it from the grapevine. Guess what? Now they're in the vehicle. Nice boxes of California raisins. Super delicious. Nature's candy. That's what my grandmother used to call them, as she would give them to me instead of regular candy. She's like, here, Joseph, here's some nature's candy. I knew what that meant. Raisins. Yay. But anyways, back of the center console area, you do have USB-Cs. I'm a little curious why that they put the AC vents down below and not up a little bit higher. I'm not gonna zonk it because it is nice to have the rear AC vents, but I think we both agree what would go here. I have no idea. Maybe AC controls, that would have been another nice thing. I got my own pocket over here because I'm not gonna eat raisins. I want some real deal candy. Good and plenty, some Skittles, some Sour Patch Kids, maybe some Now and Laters. Put those in there. You could have the raisins. They're nature's candy. Seats, armrests, ooh, nice and soft. 2 cup holders, and we got one of those Twizzler holders in the center, or some people like to call them cherry ropes, or whatever the generic name is. It's not Twizzlers, it's cherry ropes, sugar ropes, sticky ropes. Close it back up. Soft, comfortable. Let's check out the cargo area though. That's gonna be a biggie when we're comparing it to the Volkswagen ID.4. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, time to get into the rear cargo area of our Limited. Remember, you have the 2 trims, Limited and XLE. XLE is your entry. This is the top trim. You hit the button, you're gonna get nice electric assist, a little bit of a beep chime, and what are you gonna be greeted to? This being larger than a RAV4, a little bit larger than an ID.4, you're actually looking at, with the rear seats up, 27.7 cubic feet of space. You got your subwoofer, that thump-a-thump-thump subwoofer from the JBL sound system, 9 speakers. We got a little bit of a nook on the right-hand side for our Twinkies. The one zonk that I'm looking at back here is there's no 12 volt. Absolutely no 12 volt anywhere. So if you're going to the beach, you're gonna have to blow up your kid's raft and maybe risk hurting your lungs. But the great news is, 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I can fold the seats down, and that's gonna give us a greater amount of room. Obviously not totally flat, but you know what? I'll go with it, because you could go to Costco, get your 50-gallon drum of mayonnaise and ketchup and God knows what else you're buying in large quantities, and then store it in here. But you also have, speaking of storage, your charging port area. You're gonna store all that hookup right there, nice and clean underneath. But you know what? It's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get plugged in and go on an electrified on throttle in this bZ4X. All right, guys, we are gonna start off in a front wheel drive, limited trim, bZ4X. Let me give you a quick reminder. When you go front wheel drive, that is gonna be 201 horsepower. When you go all wheel drive with the 2 electric motors, that gives you 214 horsepower. And what they do is they actually split the torque evenly with the front motor and the rear motor to balance it out. So just something to be aware of. 0 to 60 in this front wheel drive is going to be around 7.1 seconds. In the all wheel drive, it is about 6.4 seconds. But since we're at a stop sign and there's a little bit of straight road, let's go on throttle. On throttle. Here we go. So instant torque, and not too shabby. I think that this is the perfect setup for somebody who obviously wants the higher trim of a Limited, but yet wants that extra range. Because remember, you're looking at an extra, I would say around 20 miles of range when you go front-wheel drive limited trim compared to the all-wheel drive limited trim. So that's something to just be aware of as you are making your choice on whether you want to go XLE or limited, and then how many motors you want, 1 or 2. But the great news is it drives like a traditional Toyota product. So it really is comfortable, especially with the ventilated seating. It's a little hot here in Encinitas. And then you have that new option of the radiant heat in the all-weather package, which is going to allow those who live up north to really be able to warm up their legs and feet and have that comfort. But visibility out the windshield is great. You got that massive 12.3-inch touchscreen. You got the 7-inch display. The biggest zonk, like I pointed out, is where I like to have the steering wheel, it's blocking the view. I literally have to take the wheel and put it right about there, and now my view is not blocked. But it kind of just feels awkward having the steering wheel that low on my lap. The gloss black, as you can see, with where I positioned the GoPro and having the shade a little open on our fixed glass panoramic roof, it's a little bit glare filled in this area because of the gloss black. Now, where you're feeling, where you're touching, very, very soft, very comfortable. It feels so well put together. You push that button with the pedal, you get a green light, and that's going to maximize your regenerative braking and give you a little bit more that one pedal operation. Remember, not totally one pedal operation, but Toyota wants the driver to be engaged in the driving of an electric vehicle. And by having to take your foot off of the throttle and onto the brake, that is one of the ways that they get that done. Now, when you turn on your lighting, it is going to obviously change some of the colors and graphics on your instrumentation from when you're driving at night. There it goes. Everything went dark because of us being underneath that overpass. But front-wheel drive, I think, is going to be very popular because of that extra range that you're getting. And there's still plenty of power when you're going 0 to 60 in 7.1 seconds. That's right about where I would want a vehicle to be as a daily driver, to be honest with you, because it allows you, as you can see, to get on the highway. You go on throttle and we're able to merge and get out of our own way, but you're also maximizing the range. You'll notice the blue in the charging when I get off throttle because of that one pedal style operation. It shows how the battery is being charged. And then when you go on throttle, the white bar is your power bar. And then you have a blue bar on the right there, which actually tells you what your range is. Right now we got 213 miles left based off of the driving that we've been doing today, which has been a little bit aggressive because I want to feel, you know, when you go on throttle, I want to feel what that on throttle acceleration is all about. But when we're comparing it to the Volkswagen ID.4, I really feel that this is going to feel so much more familiar. It's less gimmicky in a way. One of the things with the Volkswagen ID.4 is the gear changer. I don't like that little twist thing that they got going on. This really makes a lot of sense, and the storage capacity is really ridiculous, just how much room you have. All right, guys, we're in now the twin motor, all-wheel drive, still limited trim of the bZ4X. Remember, you have XLE and limited. Right away, you're gonna notice that instant power because not only is it electric, and you don't have to wait for the revs to go up because there are no revs, you have the more horsepower. So you're looking at 214 horsepower, almost 250 pound-feet of torque. So nice the way that they actually split it up. 124 up front for the torque and 124 out back with the rear motor. That's going to give you 0 to 60, like I said, around 6.4 seconds compared to the 0 to 60 of 7.1 seconds with the front wheel drive example. Now, the great news is going down the highway still drives the same. Nice, smooth, comfortable. I'm actually going to drop the steering wheel because of how it blocks the dash a little bit. I want you to be able to see that because one big difference, probably the biggest difference besides the extra performance is we have X mode. That is the same exact X mode that is in the Subaru Solterra. So you're gonna get that mud mode, you're gonna get that deep snow mode, and that's gonna allow you to be able to get through some bigger obstacles with the all-wheel drive example. And now I'm putting it into X mode. There's our snow and dirt. You get a nice little graphic up top. Deep snow and mud, that shuts off your traction control and everything, and then you're right back to where you started. So very easy to use, and I like the clean, clear display for that digital display. The only problem is you got to have the steering wheel a little lower than maybe what you like. Some people may like to have the steering wheel on their lap, but me personally, I do not like that. So that's why it is a zonk, because it blocks the vision of the digital display. But I am digging the extra power for sure from the twin motor setup. You're definitely gonna enjoy that extra performance. And just like the ID.4, you have that option. Where this has another advantage over the ID.4 is going to be with, of course, having the X mode. That allows us to be a little bit more versatile to go through some of that tougher terrain. All right, guys, one more time. On throttle, here we go. As you can see, very, very good feedback coming to the steering wheel. And then that all-wheel drive traction, that's the best part of it. You just gotta ask yourself, what is more important? If you live up north and it snows a lot, or you like to go down some trails, all-wheel drive is gonna be the answer for you. But if you want a hypermile and try to get as much range as you possibly can, then obviously front-wheel drive would be the best way to go. But hopefully this has been a nice blending of the two different options in the limited trim with the bZ4X. We're gonna get back to where this party all started, and we're gonna wrap it up. So I'll see you in an electrified minute. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a fun-filled day here in Encinitas, California. I definitely gotta thank the whole Toyota team for allowing us access to this media drive event so that we could bring it to you. Let me know what you think with this all-new bZ4X. Has Toyota done enough to bring people over to electrification? Not only fans of the brand already, but also new fans. And is this the one to get over the Volkswagen? Which way are you gonna spend your money? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you wanna help us keep making you great content just like this, click the link in the description, get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. Gotta give it up to the queen of the camera, keeping things calm, keeping things chill, but also being the muscle behind the lens. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.